Here we go. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming devices, content providers, pretty much anything that will get that stuff that you enjoy to those beautiful eyeballs of yours. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Michael Aston.
Hello.
And we're missing a couple people.
Yes. Michael Aston and nobody.
I almost autopiloted on through, and because Matt Ross is normally right next to me, and so it went, oh wait, he's not here. So at least they've got good excuses. Jimmy's on a plane. I guess they don't have the best Wi-Fi, and I think Matt is stuck in a car with his family. So right about now, I bet he'd rather be here, depending on how long they've been on the road. But you know what? We're here, and we're gonna do this right. How you doing this week?
Doing good. As long as my voice holds out, I will be solid.
Awesome. Yeah, since we wasn't a whole lot to talk about this week, and we're kind of down a few members, I thought, it's about time we did a call-in episode. So, anybody out there in the chat room that is live with us right now, if you head on over to the Diamond Club Discord, we're going to take over the game night chat. I suppose it's okay, considering the owners of that room are currently in the chat. If it's not all right, too bad. You can have it back when we're done. But yeah, we'll get to that here in a little bit, and hopefully somebody's got something they want to talk about. But in the meantime, we've got a few things from the news that at a little bit of a disadvantage, because normally I let Matt handle this. But dude, I read an article today. It said, forget Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu. Your library is the new place to stream movies. Have you heard of this?
Well, not until I read this article. Yeah, I mean, this was interesting to me.
I was confused. I thought at first they were trying to, based on the title, I thought maybe they were wanting to get you to come in and then you could watch stuff there. But apparently they're teaming up with a service called Canopy to provide like a Netflix or Hulu like experience from your home.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me that this kind of thing would happen. Now, I mean, logically, it doesn't make any sense for libraries or any kind of like public service to be offering streaming, a streaming solution that's kind of going to compete with the likes of Netflix or Hulu. They're not going to be able to compete for dollars, and it doesn't make sense for tax dollars to be going into that. However, that doesn't seem to be what they're actually doing here, right?
No. So, yeah, it just looks like, and I'm not clear on whether there's a cost or if this is just like, checking out a book. You just have to sign up for an account and then you get free content. But you know what? Hey, as I always say, the more players, the better. And if this helps out the local library, absolutely rock on. I hope this works for them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing for me here is I don't know how much this is going to help out, right? Like this particular service, when you start to look at the things that it actually contains, the content that it's providing, I don't know that it's actually going to draw very many people to the library that aren't already going to the library, right? We're talking about indie films, highbrow content, things that focus on immigration, diversity, LGBT rights. I mean, these are things that your art house crowd is going to go in and watch. People that are already going to the library to enjoy the atmosphere and the content that they can find there. So I don't think this is going to draw a lot of people into the library, but you never know. I mean, maybe it will expose a new generation to a more varied type of content.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. So, because sometimes you're surprised by who actually goes for stuff. You say, oh, that stuff, nobody, you're not, don't really have a crowd outside, and then people flock to it. And, I hope it works. The worst thing could happen is it fails miserably and they move on,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that it tries to replicate the features and kind of content type stuff as some of the bigger streaming services, and we spend a ton of tax dollars trying to make this a free service when there's better ways to go about that. But to me, that's the worst. I would hate to see that kind of thing happening. But if it sticks with this kind of content, it's the kind of content that you can't get easily in a variety of ways, and it provides independent filmmakers and indie filmmakers a new outlet and a way to reach more eyes and more ears, and kind of an opportunity to maybe potentially influence some minds and some spread some ideas, then that's not a bad thing necessarily.
No, absolutely not. And we all know my feelings on taxes and the use of public money, so we won't go there. So if I'm saying,
I keep feeding it to you, man. Just go for it.
But that's the thing. If I'm saying rock on, keep going, that's a big deal. Because normally I'd be like, shut it down. Yeah. No, I don't really. I don't see myself using it. I suppose if it launched here in this area, for the sake of the show, I'll probably check it out. But I don't expect a huge draw.
Right.
But who expected a huge draw, and turns out maybe not. It's Hulu.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, it said that it said Hulu losses spike 81% to $353 million in 27 as original investment soars. So there's a couple different ways to look at it, but I mean, because they started out with 72 million, and several years ago operating loss, and then they're up to 195. But thing is, they're actually investing in originals now, which they weren't before. So.
Yeah. Well, I agree to some extent, right? Like that is a good thing. That is them looking to the future and trying to provide something that can last beyond the idea of, hey, let's show reruns of Friends or whatever other show you might want to watch on Hulu. And I mean, there's a limited amount of that content, and there's a large demand across all of the various services for that content. So that's a no-win proposition, just kind of carrying that on. So investing in original content is a good idea for Hulu. However, that is a pretty steep loss, especially when compared to previous years.
Yeah.
And that's just the first 6 months. Whereas, I don't know, hopefully their funding, and it does indicate, their funding is going up. Mm-hmm. So that is good. So as long as they can keep funding enough to get past the point where they have this huge expenditure to create the original content, to draw in more eyes and they can weather that storm, then that's okay. However, that's a huge expenditure for a company that is probably already well along the way to the audience that they're going to get.
Yeah.
So that's the question you have to ask, is how much bigger can their audience get?
But you also have to remember that this isn't a normal company where, like, let's say just Joe Schmo gets together a bunch of backers and, you know, decides to do a streaming service. If they had this kind of losses, that would probably mean bankruptcy. But the thing is, ABC, NBC, Fox are backing this.
Right.
To those, I mean, along with others, you know, just to those three, 170 million, 195 million, it's probably not that big of a deal.
Well, no, 353 million.
Oh,
so
I was going to say
last year's first 6 months.
You're right.
Was
correction.
I mean, so that's exactly my point.
Yeah, and I mean, this is. I was going to say, this is almost the model that Amazon's been operating on with their, you know, just get people in, don't worry about a profit. It just losing, you know, bundles of cash, but you know what? They're getting people in. The problem is Hulu doesn't have the market on the backside to recoup.
Yeah, they don't. Amazon's idea is that they get their Amazon Prime service and video can be funded by all of the book purchases and product purchases you make. Hulu, like you said, their idea is that they can be funded by Fox, NBC, ABC, or whatever, while they get this content. But again, I want to stress that my concern is Hulu already has a large audience, and they're in a market that is crowded with high quality, highly competitive offerings. And in order to make up $353 million in losses, they have to be able to get that many more users, right? So they've set this bar where they've got to come from already being pretty high to getting way higher just to break even. And then breaking even doesn't mean anything for those companies. They're looking at a long-term solution that provides them revenue and income, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I honestly hope they don't look at this loss as a failure, because I have been enjoying the Hulu originals. Most of the shows that I've been watching lately were Hulu originals, and I don't want to see them go away.
Yeah, that is good. But the one thing you got to remember is creating content for users that are already paying doesn't do them any good, and
unless it keeps them paying. Like me,
well,
you know, if they stop making all those originals, I'm at the point now where I might reconsider.
Well, if this is a spike in spending, but if they're going to do sustained spending of that kind of money to keep creating new originals, that doesn't work. They have to increase that user base. And that means they have to bring in new eyes. So they're satisfying you as an existing user, and you're happy for them to keep doing it. But they've got to draw new eyes to make up for that.
And continual creation of new content is one way to bring people in. Because, as we said, you know, their old business model, they've pretty much already reached saturation. You know, everybody that wants to watch Fox or NBC or ABC shows, they're already doing it. And, you know, how are you going to get in the other people? Create something new that is can't miss TV for them. So, that's my take on it. Because, I mean, that's kind of what Netflix has been doing with a lot of the things that they've taken chances on.
I feel like the difference being that Netflix built a user base and they used the money from that user base to support the growth, and they did it a little bit more gradually. So that they didn't have to be running at massive losses.
No, and I mean, because like the first year, like 2013, they put out 2 shows,
Hmm.
and then a couple more shows. And Hulu was trying to do that, but the problem was the stuff they put out at first was kind of. Although Deadbeat, I was mad when they didn't renew Deadbeat after the third season because that show was hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially when they added Cal Penn to the cast. So if you haven't watched Deadbeat, go out and watch it. It is with Tyler Labine. It's one of my favorite shows. Oh, and Moon Boy, which was
Not seen either of those. I'll have to kind of put
oh
those on the long list of shows that you've recommended to go watch.
all right. Rock on. Well, then next up, do you hear a lot of people have been talking about how Disney is pulling out of Netflix?
Yeah, this is a very interesting one for me. I am a huge fan of Disney and just about all of the products that they own. I like a lot of their original Disney content, their movies and stuff for kids. I love Star Wars. I love Marvel content. So this is interesting for me.
Yeah. Well, this article in Forbes says, hey, the Disney's exit isn't as bad for Netflix for Netflix watchers as it might seem. You know, everybody was immediately doom and gloom. Oh, what about the Marvel stuff? That like all the new Marvel shows, and you know, but this move doesn't affect that.
Right.
I mean, they've got a partnership to co-create these Marvel TV shows. They're just pulling the Disney theatrical releases, from what I understand. And so, I mean, if you're into the Marvel Netflix universe, and you're looking forward to stuff like The Defenders, hey, it's gonna be right there where you want it. I did see some stuff that, yeah, Disney is setting up their own standalone streaming service. We'll see how that goes, but
Yeah, that is interesting to me because I love, like I said, I love all of the Disney content. So that is something I would probably be willing to pick up in order to get. So that helps me feel a little bit better about this because I don't feel like I don't have a way to get the content. But the key to me is that we're not losing Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and all of those other shows that I actually quite like and am looking forward to being able to keep watching. So those original Netflix Marvel movies or TV shows, whatever you want to call them, it's hard to classify them at this point. They're not really TV shows, right? The Netflix shows that are the Marvel originals are still there. They're going to keep being made, and that's good. Honestly, I don't use Netflix for the movies all that much anyways. I usually buy them because my kids don't want to wait 3 or 4 months to get the movies, and they can get them faster on Blu-ray and digital download than we can through Netflix. And while it's not a big delay, it's enough that it bothers them.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker, so I go ahead and buy it for them.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, and as W. Scottus one points out, he said Netflix is going to be fine, Disney's going to be fine. This is only bad for consumers because there's one more subscription they'll have to pay. Yeah, that is the case, but you have to remember, as the consumer, you have benefited from the availability for this long. You know, everything is eventually gonna, I mean, these agreements aren't forever. Everything's eventually gonna go home to roost on its parents, server or service, just like all the Fox stuff and the NBC stuff is leaving Netflix and going to Hulu. And Netflix had the benefit of being first. So they got to benefit from other people's products for so long that they're finally getting to the point where it's not that, appealing to the content owners to necessarily let them have the exclusive rights. So, yeah, it was bound to happen.
the thing that sits really really big here, and this kind of goes back to our last discussion about Hulu, and it's kind of like a side note in this article, but it does talk about where Netflix is financially in relation to, not in relation to Hulu, but in the same kind of boat that Hulu is. Netflix accumulated $20 billion in debt and liabilities, getting to where they're at right now with the content. So this will help on that front because this reduces their outgoing costs to get that content. So, Disney's not giving them that content free. They're paying for it.
Yep.
And that's probably a non-trivial portion of every subscriber's monthly fee that's going directly to Disney for that content. So removing that means that Netflix gets to keep a little bit more of the money as long as they don't lose users. And as long as they keep a fair number of other shows, they're not going to lose users because it's so convenient. It's so easy. It's so reasonably priced for what you get that even you take this off and it's no big loss. I'm definitely not getting rid of Netflix because of this.
I've actually been toying with the idea of dropping Netflix, Reese, because especially right now, which we'll get to in my rant, but I can't find anything I want to watch on Netflix. And
so if you aren't into the the Marvel stuff, right?
No, I don't.
I'm a superhero
the only one that I actually kind of almost liked was Iron Fist, and that's the one that everybody hated. I couldn't stand. I just couldn't watch any of the others. I tried, but yeah. I mean, there's a couple Netflix originals I like, but they're not currently airing, so I kind of have no reason to. And a lot of the stuff that I want to watch is gone. Or also I'm having trouble finding stuff because they destroyed the rating system and now my queue is and suggestions are all jacked up, so it's just kind of like
the thing for me is as long as they keep producing the content that they have with the Marvel stuff, I'm going to stick around. I'd probably stick around just for those shows if that was all they offered. But my kids love to watch a lot of stuff on Netflix. Now, some of that might go away with this Disney deal, like Sophia the First and the kids' shows. The other thing that they have that kind of would keep me is like The Walking Dead and stuff. Yeah, it comes in way late, but I don't care. I'm fine being 1.5 years behind on The Walking Dead. I'm already 2 seasons behind anyway.
I think I'm 3 years behind on Ray Donovan right now. So
yeah. So it's like these are things that you eventually maybe want to watch. They were enjoyable, maybe. I enjoyed Walking Dead up to the point that I stopped watching, but I got distracted, and at some point I probably will go back, and that's fine with me.
Yep. Well, one thing that is going away? CISO.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say about that. I guess goodbye, Cisco. We hardly knew you. There was never anything that they had that was compelling for me to even try the trial. So
there was, I've heard a lot of good things about like Harmon Quest.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. I expect that they will find a new home. Or
it looks like series like Harmon Quest and my brother and me and Hidden in America with Jonah Ray are potentially going to be sold to VRV.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I missed that they said who was going to get it. I saw that they were trying to sell it. So,
it's anime, sci-fi, and fantasy streaming service. I've heard the name, but I've never seen it spelled, so that threw me off. Did not realize it was VRV. So
if those shows get picked up, then that's good. I mean, I did a 7-day trial of CISO just so I could watch like one specific show. I watched that movie, and the movie was over. I tried to watch a little bit more. It kind of bored me. Finding things wasn't easy and stuff. didn't make a lot of sense, so I canceled and never looked back. I
Yeah.
never felt like I missed it.
One thing that surprised me is because the whole time with the marketing of CISO, I was under the influence that this was an NBC venture. But it turns out that NBC Universal is only a minority investor. Vox Media actually owns the website. So,
yeah, W. Scott has said that he's going to get $4 a month back because he doesn't use it, but he forgot that he keeps forgetting to cancel. So
yeah, that's great.
I probably was in that boat for a couple of months too. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. These are so easy to sign up for and forget about.
Make sure you actually go in there and cancel it, because if I were them, I would let the pay renewal process keep going, even though the service isn't there, just because of the people that aren't paying attention.
Yeah,
because 90% of them probably will never catch it. The one or two that call back and complain that can actually find a number to reach you, then, or don't turn off their cards, then you refund them and then they're happy, right? All right. And then last things last, looks like CBS is looking to expand their all access internationally. And they're planning a live streaming service for sports.
Yeah. The two things about this article that stood out to me was that they're still calling it CBS All Access.
Even though you only kind of have some access.
CBS maybe a little bit of some access, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Like, get with it. And the other thing is that in their advertising, they've got two images, The Good Wife and Star Trek Discovery, that may come out someday.
Yeah, but the thing is, those are already slated to be on Netflix internationally, not on CBS All Access.
Right.
So I thought that was funny. Yeah, because like Patrick Bejo he's in France, so he'll get to watch this. He'll actually get to watch the Star Trek new show without actually having to sign up for the CBS thing. So
that's good.
That's about the only way that I'd be tempted into trying out the series. We've talked about my disillusionment with CBS and my kind of lack of interest to try to dip my toe back in their waters.
I'll probably give it a shot just to watch Star Trek. Hopefully they'll either do an all at one time release, or we can wait till the end and get the whole back catalog. And at the end of the year, I'll join and watch the whole thing all at once.
Yep. So, anybody that's outside of the U.S., you better not start up your stream on Rabbit, RABB.IT, because that would be wrong in letting everybody watch your Netflix stream.
Yeah, and definitely don't get a VPN that looks like it's in Europe and watch Netflix through that.
Yeah, don't do that.
That would be wrong too.
All right. I didn't really want to get too deep into that one because they talked about some sports stuff and yay sports ball, and it's this I think just a grander scale of the same promises that CBS has been making for like 2 years. So we're gonna give you everything as long as it fits into these little tiny categories.
That was the most frustrating thing. I signed up and was like, CBS All Access. Started trying to find my shows, and I was like, what do you mean it's not on there? So I actually called somebody up, and it took a lot of effort to find a way to call somebody. And I talked to him, and I was like, it's called CBS All Access. How is this not on here? It was like, well, yeah, it doesn't include any licensed content. I was like, that's like half of your shows. And all of the shows that I want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember, like, before Netflix was streaming, you could watch basically everything, which should have been called CBS All Access, on the CBS website. I remember sitting in line waiting for a roller coaster and watching MacGyver on my phone that I was relaying through. There was that Play On service, which would run on your computer, and then you could connect to it from your phone from anywhere. And yeah. And I mean, that I could go, oh, like A-Team or MacGyver or whatever. If it was a CBS show, I could go through all the shows, just pick an episode and then play it. But that was before people had streaming boxes that were able to send it to their TV, and then they're like, oh, wait, it's on a TV. You're stealing. And then yeah. CBS, maybe someday. That's all I got to say about that. So, well, what do you say? Should we take?
Got one last one, right?
Oh no,
PS4.
Oh, I took that one off.
Okay.
It wasn't on there because I was reading it and it didn't really pertain to what we're talking about. If you're curious, PlayStation new update for the PS4 Edge or Advance or whatever they're calling it Plus. Is offering better Twitch streaming. So you can now stream to Twitch at 1080p, 60 frames per second. Yay! So, if you're...
Twitch thing,
what's that?
Twitch thing does a little bit, right? Because that is something that people use as an alternative of streaming entertainment.
Well, no, it's not watching, it's streaming too. So it only benefits people that are casting. So if if it benefits the people that are casting, the people that are watching are also going to be able to receive it. Absolutely. But I was just saying that's a small demographic, I think.
Your podcasts or your Twitch streams that you're currently watching on Twitch might start looking a little bit better.
Yeah. But I doubt there's anybody out there that's doing a podcast to Twitch from their PS4. That would be complicated.
Not many big names, right?
Well, I don't even know if that's possible because, the PS4 will send the game to Twitch, but I don't know if you could do like this show to Twitch on a PS4. But you could watch it on the PS4.
Right.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know if that would really fit with what we're doing, but yay, good for them. And yeah, with that, why don't we, if anybody out there, I think Will was chomping at the bit to ask us, or he had some things to say about CISO and CBS, so. Oh.
Hello?
Hey, there you are.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Alright, so here's my reason for keeping CISO, and okay. I mentioned this in the IRC. Granted, I am not the best. Like, not everyone will probably want to subscribe to CISO for this reason, but I am a late night junkie, and I love to watch all of the late night shows that are available on the broadcast networks and stuff. And CISO was offering a way to do that. And as far as I know, unless they've changed that, as far as I know, CISO is the only place you can watch any sort of, content. Like, you can watch The Tonight Show and Late Night on the NBC website, I know that, yeah. But they have more of a back catalog on CISO than they do on the NBC website, even if you subscribe with cable.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, because unless you're subscribing to, like, say, Sling or PlayStation View or something like that, yeah, you don't really have access to that content. Yeah, I totally see that.
Well, yeah, and NBC even offers the ability on their app to be able to log in. Like, I've used this on my PlayStation View account. I've logged in through my PlayStation View account, and it will give you some more episodes, but not very many.
Yeah.
And so, that's why I was keeping CISO for so long, and, it was kind of one of those things where life kind of gets to you and you don't have time to, watch it, so you end up wasting $4 a month every month.
Yeah, hopefully those. I'm hoping those will show up on Hulu, which does. I don't understand why they wouldn't, especially
They are on. Yeah, they are on Hulu. In fact, and again, I'm not sure if this is the case or not, but on if you have Hulu Plus, I mean, I guess Hulu is everything now.
Oh, yeah. If you're talking like the Hulu Live,
well, and even if you have the regular Hulu service, I believe they have some of the back catalog too.
yeah.
But
I was gonna say, I seem to remember like if that there was potentially old David Letterman from like the 80s. So it was like
really?
Good David Letterman. I saw that someplace, and I'm not sure exactly where.
Okay, yeah, because I have not seen that. That would be cool if it was there.
Yeah. The problem with the older shows, though, is they didn't always save them because when they were recording everything on film and videotape, it took space to store that, and a lot of times they would just use the same tape over and over and over. And so a lot of those shows aren't around, but
yeah, well, and it's interesting because, David Letterman's production company, Worldwide Pants probably has some ownership of that too.
Not the old stuff. Because
not the old stuff. Okay.
No, because he formed Worldwide Pants when he got snubbed because he was supposed to take over the Tonight Show for Johnny Carson, and it was given to Jay Leno. So that's when he went over to CBS and to be the rival, and that's where Worldwide Pants came from.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, because I know Worldwide Pants came pretty close to the end of his tenure on late night.
But I did see an article today. If you are a David Letterman fan, he is gonna start doing stuff again on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's so weird seeing him with that big white beard.
Oh, I know, right? That is, I thought what was interesting was my parents, who were around during the Johnny Carson days, they were, they thought that David Letterman was going to go the route of Johnny Carson and just kind of stay quiet after he retired, but it sounds like that's not the case, which is, I thought, is kind of interesting.
Well, he has for several years.
And right.
He's finally gotten to the point where it's like, they finally gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. So,
sure. As far as CBS is concerned, I like CBS's approach for this reason. I know, Clyde, you tend to not like CBS All Access, but here's why I think CBS All Access is. Granted, I will say it is not perfect. I will give you that. It is not perfect. But it is a lot better than, say, the other networks, ABC, NBC, and Fox, where you go on their websites to try to watch content, and they put their freaking content behind a cable subscription wall. And that drives me up a wall because you get it for free over the air on your antenna, and yet you're making me, and now all of a sudden I need a cable subscription to watch it online. That makes absolutely no sense. And at least with what CBS is doing is they are, providing their content without a cable subscription. And I understand, you have to pay. Yeah, I'm sure you have to pay somewhat, to keep the servers going and whatnot. So I completely understand the charge when it comes to that.
The NBC, ABC, and Fox stuff didn't used to be behind that authentication. But that was also at the same point that there was a free version of Hulu. So I would be willing to bet that those are behind the authentication because of the fact that you have the option to get those from Hulu, stream it from Hulu already. So the people that aren't going to want to get Hulu are the people that probably have cable, so they can authenticate. But if they're offering it on Hulu under a paid subscription, why would they want to give it away for free on their website and discourage people from going to that's my guess. That's probably my best guess at the justification there.
Okay. I mean, sure. Still doesn't make sense.
No, I'm not saying it's a good thing. See, I don't necessarily have a problem with CBS All Access. I haven't used it, so I can't really comment on how it is. My problem with CBS is CBS in general, just because they spent so many years telling me I'm not allowed to access their content.
Gotcha.
They refuse to allow me someplace to watch it. And if you couldn't, for example, I couldn't get CBS is the one channel I can't get over the air in my house. So like Big Bang Theory, other things that I was watching at the time, I couldn't watch it, and CBS would not give us a outlet or a way to legally get it. And so I finally just said, you know what, I'm done with CBS. I just don't care. And then when they finally came out with CBS All Access, I was already a couple years into the who cares. So they pushed me away for so long that it's going to take a lot to get me to come back, and especially to come back and give them money.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what you're saying is like, too
little,
like,
too late. Is
yeah,
more
exactly.
my kind of take on that. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing for me is I think there's some good content coming from CBS. I would be willing to pay to see some of that, but if you can't provide it to me in a timely and easy to consume fashion and provide me all of what I want, then I'm not going to go to you. I'm going to either wait and watch it on Netflix. So for example, like Supergirl was one of the shows that I had wanted to watch when it came out. But you could only see like 3 episodes or something like that, or 5 episodes. It was kind of like a Hulu deal. And that didn't make sense. So I wait. Now I can watch it on Netflix. This old season.
Supergirl is now on CW, right?
I don't know.
I think it moved to CW, which means you can watch all of the new episodes when they come out. If you go if you go to the CW app. I love the CW app. I'm actually watching a lot of CW stuff now.
Yeah, that's interesting. That CW just seems to be offering their content for free.
Well, I mean, they are a third tier network.
Yeah, you've got ads there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it's ad supported. There's a lot of ads.
Yeah, they're saying that they're going to stick with the traditional model of we'll give you the content free. You just got to watch the ads.
See, they're just desperate for ratings. I mean, especially with the cable and traditional market shrinking, they need any revenue stream they can get, and if that means offering it free, I think I would call them the T-Mobile of internet or streaming content.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
but and I think CBS, there's definitely some things that I don't like about CBS All Access, and like you were saying, all the CBS content is not necessarily there.
No.
Which is a little weird. So yeah, I would definitely say it is not perfect by any means, but I generally understand what they're wanting to do, and I think I would honestly I think it's a good direction and that's just my opinion though. I think it's a good direction, but hey, to each his own.
Yep. Rock on.
Yeah. If someone else wants to get on, I will totally.
Yeah, and actually I was noticing Tom Merritt is gonna go live in 20 minutes. How long ago was that?
8 minutes. So we've got a few minutes left before we get booted from Channel 1.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put it out there. Bad Weave, Wabbit Magic, anybody else?
I think Bad Weave. I think Bad Weed left actually. So,
Oh, did he? Yeah, he may have. Oh, yeah, it says
Yeah.
he got a dash. Okay.
Yeah. One thing I will say real quick is PlayStation View. I don't know if you had talked about this on the show or not, but I got an email from them today saying, "Hey, you've got a free upgrade to the Elite package for 6 months." So hopefully this price change will be a little easier to swallow.
Yeah.
But
The only concern I have with something like that is accidentally getting stuck on the Elite package after the 6 months.
Yeah.
Forgetting
oh
to
yeah,
and paying
Yeah.
an extra $30 a month for it. You know?
What's the total on that one? That's the one that's 70, right?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yes.
Like we're almost back to full cable price, or you are back.
No,
to
you're
full
back to full cable price.
You get more for that price, right? Like to get that much with cable, because I think
They're
that
trade-offs, but yeah, I'd say it's equivalent.
yeah.
But yeah, it's that's a lot. You add in your cable package and you're well over your internet package, and you're well over $100, back to like 120, $130. So,
Well, that's true, but hey, I'm not going to complain. If I'm getting $70 worth of channels for $30 a month, I'm not going to complain with that. However, since DirecTV Now has added DVR capabilities, I'm thinking I might switch back to them. You know, I might not have the introductory price anymore because I left them during that time period. But
Well, if they want you back bad enough, a lot of times you can get that introductory price.
yeah.
Unless you left like last week, you know. If it's
No,
been
yeah,
a
no, it was a-
significant amount of time, then yeah.
no, it was a couple months ago now, but maybe we'll see.
All right.
But yeah. Once I saw PlayStation View was hiking the prices, yeah, they're being less restrictive as far as the watching stuff away from the home, but it's still not that great, and I still don't. Once I saw the price tag, I'm like, okay, that's it, because that was my justification before. Is like, okay, the access package is cheaper. That's all I want, and everything else was more expensive then. But now it's more expensive than all the competitors. So I'm like, sorry, but I'm gone now.
Yeah.
You know.
Rock on. Yeah.
So.
All right. Cool. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think we're gonna get bumped because it turns out he is a guest on This Week in Science, but This Week in Science is not a DCTV show. It's a rebroadcasted show, so I don't think so that should be fine. But that being said, I don't know if there's anybody else that wants to call in. Otherwise, I mean, we can wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, we got some rants. I got some rants, raves.
Yeah.
You said you have one.
I do. So I mean, yeah. Why don't we do that while we wait? Let's see. Yeah, it worked this time. All right. So you've got a rant, rave. What's up?
Yeah, well, mine is a lot like yours. I am finding it hard to find things that I care about to watch on the regular channels. I mean, and when I say that, I mean PlayStation View, all of the channels that I get through that, Netflix, Hulu, what else do I pay for? Amazon Prime. There's so much stuff there, but I'm not interested in watching much of any of it.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes back to that PlayStation thing, why I kind of didn't want to completely skip over that PlayStation article. The two things that I'm finding the majority of my entertainment in right now is YouTube, and like traditional YouTube, not like YouTube TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's another one. There was another one in my mind a second ago. Anyways,
Twitch?
But yeah, I mean, just watching shows on like YouTube and gaming type stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So what we were talking about with Twitch and stuff. I don't watch a lot of Twitch, but I do watch some of that stuff on YouTube. Sometimes stuff gets there. But the big thing for me is just watching podcasts and stuff. There's so much good content that's created by people like you and me that just get on and talk and provide some good insights and stuff. Right now, I'm kind of on a D&D kick and watching a show called Running the Game by Matthew geez, my brain has absolutely shut down.
Jonathan Colton?
Jonathan Colton. No, it's Matthew Colville. Yeah, I was right. Okay, Matthew Colville, Running the Game. Great podcast about being a dungeon master and running a D&D game, and really interesting and insightful. If you're not running a D&D game, you might think, but you probably will see, if you like D&D, see more into the inner workings of D&D than you really want to know if you want to play a game and be surprised about some of the fun stuff that can happen. But if you run a game or are thinking about running a game, it's a great podcast. Obviously, I've mentioned Critical Role in the past. Mm-hmm. There's just so much good content out there. Geek and Sundry Network. Obviously, there's that kind of network, DC TV or something like that has a lot of good shows.
What is that? DC TV?
Yeah, they're good. Oh. I'd recommend check out some of the stuff on there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, why go anywhere else, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I'm kind of in the same boat. Right now, this is the first time in a long time that I can't find anything that I want to watch. I mean, yes, there are certain days because there are shows that are rolled out every week, and it's like, ugh. And I have to go to the USA app and see, oh, is the new episode of Suits up? I have no idea what day it comes out, so, crap, did I see that episode before? I don't know. Oh, no, guess not. And yeah, I watched... Everybody was raving about Ozark, so I was like, okay, rock on, I'll go watch it. And I was just kind of meh, you know? And it got me through. I mean, that's part of the reason I'm finally going back and watching Ray Donovan, just because I've got nothing else to watch. Although, a couple of my favorite shows are coming back here at the end of the month, which would be Episodes and I don't remember what the other one was. Yeah. Oh, Dice on Showtime. The autobiographical kind of show about Andrew Dice Clay. It's kind of it's kind of a comedic take on his actual life, and it's really funny.
I remember you mentioning that a little while back.
It's really funny. But that's not until the 20th. Although they did do a sneak peek early premiere this week, and now I'm pissed because I got to watch the first episode of the new series, both shows. That's not coming for like 2-3 more weeks. It's like, right. But
yeah, it's like seeing a movie trailer and then seeing at the end of it that it's coming out in a year. It's like, no, why did you do that to me? Now I want to see it and I can't wait for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing, if I didn't have kids, I would be seriously thinking right now about just canceling it all and going just pure internet, what I can get free online, YouTube, Twitch, stuff like that, because there is just so much good content, and a lot of it is, to me, the thing that I get out of it is that a lot of it is more mentally stimulating, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not just sit down and watch and inactively consume entertainment or be entertained. It's actively consuming information, knowledge, thoughts, and ideas that make you in turn kind of think about the way you view things and stuff, which it's just so much more enjoyable to me at this point in time and more rewarding than stuff. I mean, like you said, there's times where you just want to sit down and watch something dumb and or, you know, normal entertainment and just be entertained. But for me, a lot of the time, or the majority of the time, I don't want to just sit down and be entertained. I want to have something going on that I can kind of think about and be informed at the same time.
You know, what's sad is on Friday, I was so excited because I have been waiting for the new season season 3 of Voltron on Netflix. Problem was, by Saturday morning, I'm waiting for season 4. They're half-hour episodes, and there was only 7 episodes this season, so I just burned right through it. And I was so happy and then so bummed because it's going to be another year before I get to watch more Voltron. And if any of you like anime or remember Voltron or whatever, even if you don't know what Voltron was back in the day, it is very well done. I tried to go back many years ago and watch the early episodes of Voltron. It is completely unwatchable. And I remember why I barely ever watched it as a kid. But this new version is amazing. It's funny. It's got some great, voice acting. There was once a pretty witty guy that wrote into Cord Killers and gave them a breakdown of exactly who did which voices so they could stop calling out the wrong actors. But, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about that being good. You've mentioned it. Brushwood has mentioned it.
It's something that it's totally family friendly. It's something that that anybody can watch, and it's fun. It's sad. It's funny, but it can be absolutely have that emotional gut punch too. So, Netflix has been learning from all of the anime that they have had on their servers over the years. So,
yeah.
All right, rock on. I guess it doesn't look like anybody else wants to call in, so we had a successful call, so I will call that a success. W. Scottus 1 is pointing out that site that we were sort of unfamiliar with apparently is doing a survey still. I think I need to crunch the numbers on that. I meant to the other day. But it's still available at dctv.link/2017. If you haven't already, fill out that survey, and we can use that info to determine, do we need to do anything with Diamond Club TV? Does anybody actually want it? I think the resounding answer is yes, but unless people actually write in and say yes, then how are we supposed to know, right?
Right.
But looking back through some of the initial returns that came in were kind of surprising. And there were features that, do we need to spend the time to recreate this feature? And then almost all of the answers are never heard of it.
Yeah, there's a feature for that? Really?
Okay. And I was one of those people that went,
know about. Yeah.
Wait, you can do a 4-in-1 and show 4. I never knew that.
Yep.
Apparently,
that was one of the ones I was like, what?
Yeah. So definitely fill that out. You may find out that there was a feature that you do care about, but you never knew it existed. So rock on, let us know. And I guess, yeah. Thanks, Mike, for making it. I had steeled myself to do this horrible solo thing that would want to watch, and you rescued me at the last minute. So,
glad I could be here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Will, for calling in. Will, are you doing both of the game nights now, Tuesday and Friday? It'll take him a few seconds to answer that. Oh, just Fridays. So, yeah, if you like Jackbox, or you like getting on a weird voice server and talking smack with a bunch of strangers, every Friday night there is a game night. Oh, Tuesday nights is no longer. Okay. yeah, that would be at twitch.tv / I can't say that tonight for some reason. I guess that would be whack, huh? WScottis1. And that again is twitch.tv / WScottis1. Friday nights. Typically, if it's late and it's Friday night where you're at, just go to his Twitch stream, and they're probably there. If you don't know where to go for the voice chat, just ask. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific is when it starts, and sometimes it goes forever. So, rock on. Thank you, dude. Join us again next week. We're here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central on diamondclub.tv. Otherwise, you can check our past episodes on YouTube. You'll have to search for the VOD Squad because we still need a bunch of subscribers so we can get that vanity URL. So if you know anybody that has a YouTube account, mom, dad, grandma, pets, little sisters, whatever, get them to just click that subscribe button. And they don't ever have to do anything else. That's all we ask. Otherwise, we're going to have to start tracking people down and shaking them down for lunch money. And we really don't want to do that. All I want is a vanity URL. So it makes it easier to find our videos. All right. WScottis1 says he has 6 accounts. So I expect at least 4 more subscriptions by the end of today. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. Everybody in the chat room and everybody out there in YouTube land. We will check you later.